In this video, we're checking out the new Bluetooth Patchbay from the guys at Black Lion. Hey guys, it's Steve from Featherlight Studio, and in this video we're checking out the new Bluetooth-enabled Patchbay from the guys at Black Lion. Now, a Patchbay may not seem like an exceptionally glamorous purchase, but I promise you, if you've got a lot of gear and you hate crawling back behind the racks to make connections, these things can be a real lifesaver. Now, we've got an aging Patchbay that we've been using forever here at the studio, and it's going out and the connections are starting to get a little sketchy. So Black Lion offers a couple of different configurations of Patchbays that are super helpful, really well made, and solve a ton of problems. So first off, I just want to say this is not a sponsored video. I had to buy this with my own money just like everybody else. This is just my honest opinion about how this actually compares to other Patchbays I've had in the past. And also, we're not sponsored by Sweetwater either. We do get most of our gear from Sweetwater just because they're really great about packaging stuff. They double box things. Stuff doesn't show up on a pile and it's never broken. So kudos to Sweetwater for doing such a great job and getting it here. On the inside of the package here is a very short manual, since it's a pretty straightforward product, as well as the power supply and a USB-C charging cable, in addition to the Bluetooth antenna as well. And the Patchbay itself is surprisingly well made. A really nice brushed front plate and back plate, and an overall really well-built chassis. So I think one of the first things I really notice about the Black Lion Patchbay is just its overall construction. We got a couple of other pieces of Black Lion gear in the studio, and all of them have really been top-notch in terms of their overall build quality. This is no exception, and it's well thought out. And one of the things I gotta say that is the biggest problem solver of all is that the connections and the switches for normal and half normal positions are on the back of the unit, which means once you get this thing installed in a rack, you don't have to pull it out of the rack if those switches are on the top, which I never understood from some Patchbay manufacturers. So Black Lion's really thought ahead and made this much easier to use in a real world environment. After you get all your patching done, you can go back in and hit these switches and change the configuration literally with the touch of a button. The Black Lion TRS-BT Patchbay comes with 94 audiophile grade gold-plated 1/4-inch TRS connectors, a built-in Bluetooth module for lossless audio straight out of the Patchbay, mode switching buttons on the back, thankfully, super easy to switch in between the different normal and half normal configurations, a rugged black anodized aluminum faceplate, comes with some front panel labels, which makes it easier for labeling and at-a-glance configurations. And in addition, on the top of the unit, there's some quick diagrams to show you what the possible combinations of routing are, including the half-normaled and normaled modes. On the right-hand side of the TRS-BT is the threaded Bluetooth antenna, the LED directly underneath that for Bluetooth, as well as the Bluetooth activation button. Once you press and hold the Bluetooth button, it enters its pairing mode, and once the LED is solid, Bluetooth pairing is complete. The integrated Bluetooth module is super straightforward to set up. You simply plug in the included power cable with the USB-C side on the rack itself, and then the other side into a power strip. And then you simply attach the threaded Bluetooth antenna, and you're basically ready to start pairing your device. Press and hold the Bluetooth activation button until the LED blinks red and blue, and you're ready to start pairing the Patchbay to your preferred audio device. The Bluetooth audio output comes out the last set of jacks on the Patchbay, and these aren't patch points, they're just the audio output for the Bluetooth module itself. Of course, the outputs can be patched back into any of the inputs, and from there they can be sent or split via the half-normaled or normal button configurations to anywhere you need. This makes it super easy to send Bluetooth audio anywhere else to the Patchbay or to any other destination in your studio that you might need it to go. If you're new to Patchbays, the Black Lion Patchbay works very similar to other Patchbays, where on the rear, the top are usually inputs and the bottom are usually outputs. On the front, the top are usually outputs and the bottom are usually inputs. But they give you a ton of different options to change this. So let's talk about the modes. The first mode is normal mode. This means if you plug something into the rear top, it comes out the front top. It's basically just a straight through rear to front patch. This is great if you just have a bunch of inputs and outputs that simply need to be connected. So if you have a whole wall of synthesizers, for example, and you don't want to crawl behind it every single time, this is a quick and dirty solution. The next mode is half normal, and you simply switch back and forth between the two with the little dip switch in the back here. This is the mode I think that really allows you the most amount of flexibility. In half normal mode, when you plug something into the top rear, it immediately comes back out the bottom rear, so it makes a loop. But in addition, you get to split the signal, and it also comes out the front top. Hence the name half normal. You have your regular studio setup in the back of the patch bay, but you get an additional destination in the front. This is very flexible anytime you need to duplicate, or what's known as mult, a signal to more than one destination. The next modes aren't necessarily determined by the switches, it's just the state of the patch bay. So for example, if you're using all 4 jacks in any one of the modules, so top and bottom in the front, top and bottom in the back, then it's just a straight connection from the rear top to the front top, and from the front bottom to the rear bottom. So it's just a straight patch through. The next state is a variation on that. If you're not using any of the top connections in the modules at all, then it's just a straight patch from the front patch bay bottom connector to the rear patch bay bottom connector. And the last sort of state the patch bay can be in is if you're not using any of the front connectors at all, then the rear connectors just form a loop from the top to the bottom. So whatever you plug in for the top comes directly out the bottom. This would really be your studio's default configuration. And if you have the normal switch in the up position and you insert a jack in the top front, you could get a duplicate of that. And like we said before, all these are stenciled on top to help you when you're wiring stuff up. The PBR-TRS-BT has been out for a little while, so it's not a brand new product, but it has recently come down in price considerably, which makes it a really attractive deal if you are even remotely in the market for a patch bay. If you're looking for a robust and quality made product that's thoughtfully put together, and especially one that does signal splitting as well as this one does, you should definitely give this one a look. It checks a ton of boxes for the average studio user, and even just somebody who has a ton of synths and stuff. This is definitely worth a look. Strong, stable Bluetooth connection on top of that makes this really a nice kind of secret weapon in a complex studio setup. So as you can see, the new Black Lion Bluetooth-enabled patch bay solves a ton of pretty clever problems. And just little things like killer build quality and, putting the normal, half normal switches on the back of the unit is just a giant problem solver. So thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I appreciate it. If this was helpful in any way, please hit the subscription and notification bells. It helps keep a young channel like this growing, helps me make more videos like this. Stay safe, be creative. Add something creative and musical to the world. I could really use it. Take care, we'll catch you guys in the next video.